Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the March 14th Virgo Lunar Eclipse we will be having here in 2025. I always love coming on and giving you guys some eclipse updates. Yes, we are in a very pivotal Pisces stellium eclipse season with a lot of retrogrades happening on the Pisces and Aries axis. So many new beginnings oncoming at the same time, a lot finishing up, and a lot of closure needed. Yes, let's talk about some of the insights for this eclipse happening. First off, if you guys want to get all of the March 2025 readings, sign by signs, those are now available, ad-free, seamless on Patreon, and will be linked in the description box below. So easy to come over and get your update for your sign, as well as weekly forecasts. I can't wait to give you guys some more content over there, as well as here on YouTube. And yes, do hit the subscribe button below and turn on the bell notifications if you're new, and your likes and comments also really help this channel. Okay, so Virgo Lunar Eclipse. There is a lot of density that we are shedding during this time. There is a lot of dismissing of dysfunction happening as well. And I feel that we're becoming very conscious of what no longer works. We're also getting a lot of data and insight about the past, what we thought would work in the past, what we thought was a responsible decision. Also what we chose to leave behind for better future margin. All of that's going to be coming up in this eclipse, and I feel that people will be changing their minds here, okay? So that was one of the main things that I got as I was meditating on this topic in transit, was like a need to change the mind, or a need to come to a different mind about some of our long-running beliefs, some of our really entrenched ideas about what decision-making we're employing, and whether that is still the right decision-making, whether we need to make some changes. This feels like a very powerful time of change, as of course, yes, Virgo is a mutable earth sign. The moon is also, in and of itself, a body that deals with changes and fluctuation. So I feel that coming also through these major Pisces stelliums as we entered the month with Neptune in the North Node, conjunct in the mutable water sign of Pisces, also having Mercury and Venus and Saturn having been in Pisces, and Mercury and Venus building up to retrograde in Aries and then back to Pisces. A lot of us are right on the precipice of a major transformation. And I feel that at this precipice, or at this crossroads that a lot of us are at, there's going to have to be a change of mind, or an acceptance that it will take maybe a bit of propulsion in order to affect some of the changes. So this is an important time for some people to change their timeline. Okay, so whatever idea you've had about like the eventuality of stepping onto the path of purpose, or whatever sort of timeline you've been working with in general, may be changed here, okay? Because of course with any eclipse, something is coming in and something is going out. So it's so mental with this moon in Virgo eclipse, South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces. This is like a new belief about ourselves coming in and an old one going out. Definitely an identity update for some people as well, like who we thought we were could be a major area of change during this time. This is a paradigm shifting energy, and also very karmic and very quantum feeling. So this is a lot of words to throw around, but the overall sort of physical meaning that I'm getting from this is like we've believed something about ourselves, or about our reality, about our experience for a long time. And past this point, okay, as this is a very interesting buildup, obviously lunar eclipse on March 14th, astrological new year and equinox on March 20th, okay, this week, this full like March 14th through March 21st is like a major wake-up phase for some people as they begin to realize that there could be a mismatch between what they believe about the current life they're engaged in and what it's actually yielding. So, sometimes people go into something with a certain belief, like you might start a job or enter an industry, enter a relationship or an area with a belief about what that means to you or what that could yield. And this is a period of time where that could be turned on its head, and it's like, okay, I entered into this with like a naivete, or I had a certain like youthful spirit, which is not a bad thing. But now we will know what it actually gave, and we will know more clearly also what something can give over the long term. So this may be a time, especially during Pisces season, right, to really look at the long-term trajectory of your involvements. You may need to sit down and really go through this for a few days and try to not be too like ADD with it, or sometimes people don't really want to delve into things here, or they just want to break, or they just want to take things kind of day by day. I actually don't encourage this during this time. It feels like by this eclipse, a lot of the rest or recovery that we needed should have been done, and there should be a very precise mind and a very precise kind of communication at the self level to understand the trajectory that we're in. Okay, so this will be very hard after this eclipse to not be very aware of the trajectory. This will feel very myopic in a way, or it will feel short-sighted to be kind of in these like, I just get by day, or, I don't really want to accept that my, primary belief about this industry, about what it could do for me, or my primary belief about this relationship is not going to come to fruition. So this is also where people's, yes, as I'm saying, their beliefs adjust or adapt based on the experiences that they're having. And we have to compare, okay? Compare and contrast, right? Sign of Virgo, 6th house. We have to compare, okay, my belief about this element of my life. Now, after being in that for like 8 years or being in that for quite a while, what actually happened, how I actually feel, how my life is actually adapting. That, black and white result, okay? So like that language that is not debatable, that fact, okay? Virgo, 6th house, looking at the facts. The fact that emerged within my life based on that story compared to the sort of like emotional belief or foresight that I had before entering. How on were you? How off were you? Don't give yourself a hard time if there was a kind of like a rose-colored glasses effect, or like I went into this industry thinking that it would give me so much satisfaction, and now I'm understanding that there was a lot that I didn't understand. So like, try to see experience in general as a positive thing, even if you feel that your end result was not exactly as sparkling as you expected it to be. These things can still be applied. As another thing that I'm feeling about this lunar eclipse in Virgo is that people are going to start merging or consolidating a lot of their experiences together into like a greater monolith, right? This Pisces opposition, stellium, with not really anything else in Virgo other than the moon and the south node, right? To me, this feels like the generation of like a higher level persona, a higher level monolith, some type of greater cause. For some people, like humanitarian focuses are incredible here, but they could also become a bit dogmatic, or they could become kind of functioning based on some type of belief system rather than some kind of like financial structure or material structure. So this polarity of like material and spiritual, right? Virgo and Pisces will also be an area of change here. So the spiritual motivation behind our material existence will need a lot of focus. As I think that there could be a difficulty here. The conglomeration of Pisces energy opposite this eclipse. Also the fact that the solar eclipse coming at the end of March is actually off the nodal axis in Aries. It says to me that it's like we're trying to regain the spiritual focus, or we're trying to recharge the inspiration of our material life. And that says to me that we entered this with like a deficit of that. So I'm definitely feeling like a deficit of spiritual relevance for some people. So this could be like existentialism, or some type of like nullified feeling, or some kind of distraction grid that has come up where people are kind of like off track. What a great eclipse to get back on track. What a great eclipse to like understand, actually my muse is pulling me this way, not that way anymore. And I have to like honor that, or I have to make a plan to kind of like shift the material structure towards where my muse is, and away from what I now understand to be kind of like draining structure. So let's talk a little bit about that. Draining, taxing, vampiric structures. That will also be a focus of this time, as this big Pisces stellium, the North Node conjunct Neptune in Pisces, that feels very draining to me, and that feels overly taxing. So some people need to recognize that they are in too draining of a life scenario. And yeah, let's dig into that with this talk today. What to do when you're in a draining situation, what to do to offset that, or to begin to no longer to begin to embark a path where we're moving towards something at least that's less draining, because it's really hard to just switch it overnight. You know, when we get into these like draining chapters, I feel that oftentimes it takes kind of like a time factor to kind of move away from it. You know, it takes a while for a good detox. It takes a while for, the rejuvenation to take effect. As you might also see if you're taking time off, or if you're resting here, that, it's taking a little bit longer. Also as we get older, sometimes we take a little bit more time to bounce back too. Also, age is a very important thing to recognize with this transit. I feel like the Virgo Lunar Eclipse is wanting us to recognize, like, are you in an age-appropriate situation? Are you giving your body what it needs at this age? Are you keeping your body like a temple, right? Are you keeping your home like a sanctuary, this Virgo-Pisces axis? That is a part of kind of like dispelling these draining situations, is requesting, or not just requesting, but moving toward what is unquestionably better. So, if we're meeting this lunar eclipse halfway, it might be good here to think, like, what is standing in the way of me moving into better situations? Is it some type of like poverty grid? Am I, having like frugality in shadow? Is it some type of like loyalty to a project, or some kind of need to have stability at any cost, even if there are like negative outcomes, to enforcing some kind of stability? Meditating during this time on the preventative structures in place, or the mindsets, or even like the emotions that we're feeling that keep us kind of in unhealthy territories. And something interesting about February that we just went through, and in the first part of March, is it should be super conscious by now. Like, I realize when I go through a phase of overworking, or, I put in a lot of overtime hours, or I procrastinate and then have to like cram, I realize during that time that a lot of negative things happen in my routine, or I eat a lot of fast food, or all of my, time management routine gets messed up because of this imbalance. This will be really important to like design a new system around. As again, the main thing that I feel about this lunar eclipse in Virgo is like dismissing dysfunctional systems. So there should be something of like creating a new time management system, maybe leaving behind a certain time management system that doesn't work anymore. Also, I sense that like a lot of businesses and individuals will be like cutting a lot of their budgets here, or stopping paying for certain things. This could be like a recession also starting up here, as I feel so much cost cutting happening. I feel so much money that used to be spent no longer being spent. So yeah, consumption going down could happen. earnings going down could happen, and a general decrease in consumption, which is probably at the end of the day quite a good thing, because we had a major overheated consumerism going on. And I'm not saying that that's like healed by this, but I'm sensing a change in animal spirits, basically regarding like discretionary spending, or regarding also, this is not just money, this is like time. So I'm sensing that people just are not engaging in certain things anymore. They're not wanting the distractions as much. Virgo is a very like focused, precise sign. And now that the South Node is there, which I made a video about the North Node and South Node in Pisces and Virgo for all signs. I'll link that below if you guys didn't get to see that. But now with that nodal axis, it's like really pulling us to get more precise and more focused with the South Node in Virgo on more valuable experiences and then less filler experiences. Also, yes, at the mundane level, this is a great transit for decluttering, okay? Lunar eclipse in Virgo. It's like having like emotional attachments to physical objects could stop here. So it's wonderful to like clear out closets. It's wonderful to kind of like recategorize or become more minimalistic here. Not to be so weighed down by certain material dynamics. Will be very like much a culture here. So there could be some type of new surge of minimalism as a culture, or just less materialism, as North Node in Pisces is also, again, very spiritually focused. It's going to value more of a spiritual and health orientation rather than feeling fulfilled by material objects. So I'm seeing a lot of people also selling material objects or donating them. And that will also contribute, I think, to maybe more of like a savings orientation. So I'm seeing people saving more rather than spending, which I think is generally quite positive. But yeah, this could lead again to a kind of receding of the general economy, for those of you who are interested to know. And also then that could cause like an increase in unemployment too. So yeah, we are kind of like definitely at a precipice with some type of economic downturn, or a correction, I might even call it instead. So that will also lead to kind of like a negative social feeling, just because that's the way that the system is currently designed. So there could be kind of like angst or density in public places. So do keep an eye out for that. There could be weird sort of public social relations. So it may be a time to begin investing more in the private sphere, or to begin really creating greater, calmer, more serene private experiences. Though as I was seeing on the Patreon readings this month, in the sign by signs, some people were really kind of struggling in the private sphere. So there's this really big focus on public sphere versus the private sphere, and like what we can do or the choices we can make to either be more present or less oriented towards one or the other. So if you want to get more information on that, definitely come and check out my Patreon page. We talked a lot about that in Benevolence this month, also in the Sign by Sign. And yes, I am posting weekly forecasts over there, so I'm going to link that in the center of the screen now, as well as in the description box. Thank you all so much for being here, and I hope you really enjoy these eclipses. Keep tuned to my channel, as I will post for the solar eclipse, as well as some other content as well. Have a wonderful transit. Much love. Bye.